I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with the works of William Shakespeare. I've gone on record about this before. To clarify, I have particular umbrage with the way Shakespeare has been adapted to film over the years. Now, some of you might assume I'm one of those people that just whines about the fact that they don't speak modern English, so I can't understand it and where. But actually, I'm of the opinion that Shakespeare's plays are best enjoyed on the stage. That's the medium for which they were written, and in my opinion, that's really the best way to experience them. That's not to say that I think they should never be adapted to film, it's just that too many filmmakers fail to understand that what may work for the stage won't necessarily work for the screen. Sadly, this film is no exception. This cinematic rendition of the Scottish play starts out moderately promising, as we're thrust into a grim, gritty version of medieval Scotland. However, the grittiness of the cinematography finds itself at odds with the format of the play's dialogue. At times, it works moderately well with interpersonal exchanges, but it tends to fall apart when it comes to the soliloquies, especially when it comes to the more pivotal dramatic moments, such as Lady Macbeth's famous breakdown monologue being reduced to sad muttering in an empty room by herself. There's no frantic hand-washing, no hint of distress in her performance, and thus it's robbed of its possible impact. The execution of that scene also highlights a larger problem that I noticed, and that is how the personalities of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth seem almost switched. Macbeth looks and acts deranged from the very beginning, while Lady Macbeth, while playing the part of the schemer in the first half, is almost turned into just another victim of Macbeth's greed in the second half. I'm willing to attribute this to the direction and the screenwriting rather than the acting, as the actors, despite some of the weird story choices, do give good performances. However, what really holds this film back is the pacing and the cinematography. As for the former, it moves at an uncomfortably brisk pace. It's almost like we're watching a chopped up version of a much longer film. I mean, yes, we're seeing the scenes as written in the play, but the film never takes a moment to really build its atmosphere, nor does it really slow down to give the audience a chance to have the events of the story sink in. Speaking of atmosphere, the film does have some strong visual moments, but we would never really see those strong visuals for very long. The film uses way too many shaky handheld close-ups and slow motion shots for a good chunk of the film, and even when we get those strong visuals, we cut away too quickly. Once again, it's as if the film was cut down from a much longer runtime. As for the art direction, it's very hit or miss, as most of the film is very grungy and dark, even when Macbeth has ascended to the throne. While some of the costumes did pop out a little bit, the dark lighting and grimy tinge makes it hard to appreciate them because of just how bleak the visuals look. I get that Macbeth is a tragedy, but even when Macbeth is king, we never see the visuals reinforce his triumph before the downfall. As a result, it makes everything look really cheaply made. Overall, I think the biggest issue is that the film was letting the dialogue do too much of the work in telling the story. It doesn't give the visuals enough time to build atmosphere or really have an impact because of the quick editing. The breakneck pace will leave you wanting in terms of character and story, despite the film adhering to what's written on the page. This is not an adaptation I would recommend in the near future. It doesn't really work as a film, nor does it really work as an adaptation of the Scottish play, at least in my eyes. All of that said, Macbeth gets a 2.5 out of 5. So that's it for this episode of Romney's Reviews. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.